Thanks to ACO for asking me here today. I've got a little BIM story for you that I've put together. Why a little BIM story? Well, my company is CarbonSaver. We are an SME, small or medium enterprise. I am also a member of BIM for SMEs. We're trying to encourage small and medium enterprises to join in on the BIM agenda. We don't think that BIM is just for the big boys. We think that BIM is for the little companies as well. I am also a CIBSE engineer, HVAC design engineer, and a member of BIM for Health. These are government task groups designed to encourage people, again, to join in the BIM agenda. The best PechaKuchas, when I looked online, were quite individual, personal stories. So I thought I'd start this little BIM story with me. That's me back in the 1970s in my favourite paisley dress. And so I wanted this to be quite an individual story. The thing that people ask me a lot is, why did you become an engineer? I think they mean because you're a woman. And it's because of my dad. My dad was an engineering draftsman. That's him on the front of the Yorkshire Post in 1972. He's the man on the left. The one on the right is Prince Charles, of course. So I left school in the 1980s, one of Thatcher's children. Not literally, she's not my mum. But there were no jobs, there were no university places, there were no colleges, there was no hope. But I still was filled with dreams and aspirations, not really sure why. I suppose it's a bit like now, really. And so I left school, and my first job was as a youth opportunities scheme in the days before computers were invented. This was a long time ago. And that was my first drawing kit. On the left was the Rotring College set, say days before computers were invented. This later actually moved into CAD. I never really did CAD, but it happened quite quickly. So over the next 15 or 20 years, I worked my way from trainee engineer to principal design engineer, and I worked on all kinds of different jobs. Anything from houses to hospitals. This is one of my jobs. It's Benfica football stadium. I was principal design engineer. I say all kinds of jobs. If it's got building services, then we'll design it. This is another job that I worked on with Zaha Hadid Architects in Paris. Again, I was principal design engineer. So I've worked on all kinds of different projects. In 2007, of course, 2008, we hit recession. I was still working full time. I've never been out of work. But in 2010, decided to set up my own company. I left a full-time job, set up my own company with my wonderful friend Rosalind in the middle, yay! And set up CarbonsaverUK on the back of the kind of low carbon agenda, changing legislation. And that's our Meet the Team page. There we are, CarbonSaver. Not long after, somebody told me about BIM. Now, engineers love TLAs. We love TLAs. We especially love TLAs when they are an acronym and not just an abbreviation, three-letter abbreviation. So you'd think I would have been overjoyed about BIM. But at first I wasn't. I was a bit cynical. I thought, oh, now what, kind of thing. But then I began to think about a book I read about 30 years previously, which was the electric Kool-Aid acid test. And these people, these pioneers, got on this magical bus, and they were going on a journey, a big journey. It was going to change the world, and they're really excited about it. And the theme was, you're either on the bus or you're off the bus. And I thought, that's like BIM, and I want to be on the bus. So I want to be part of it. I think it's a real game changer. I am naively optimistic, as someone else said earlier today. And so that's why I am on BIM for Health, BIM for SMEs. All of this is unpaid work, as well as doing a full-time job with CarbonsaverUK. Representing CIBSE, BIM Talk. I think it's the way forward. So BIM on a budget, to try and move the agenda forward, because there's not that much BIM about for SMEs. We decided to do our own BIM project. We offered to do it at no extra cost, so it was our budget as well as the client's. The client had a very limited budget. Every construction job has a budget, so this is a live job, and we said, we'll BIM it for you. So we did BIM it. It was an offices refurb. It was £500,000. We put it in IES modelling. We 3D modelled it in IES to do like low carbon reduction calculations, that kind of thing. We then rung the contractors and we said, okay, we're going to BIM it, guys, are you on board? And they went, we don't know what you're talking about. So we had to do it in our traditional 2D. So we had to do all the drawings in 2D because the contractor didn't have the software or the capability to deal with BIM. But anyway, we persevered. It was a lonely BIM path. We persevered. We then went into kind of 3D modelling, where we used CAD ducts, which has now been bought out by Revit. And so this is the services above the ceiling void that we modelled. This is a VRF system. It's the kind of thing no one ever sees. So we actually drew the building. We had no architect. It was a very lonely BIM path. We had no architect. We had to draw the building ourselves. We drew the building services. The client was engaged, and we used some of the processes in PAS 1192, which is the BIM kind of Bible procedure document. We used some of it. I admit we didn't use all of it. And one member of the client was engaged, actually probably not all of them. So these are the services that we modelled for them. So at least they can see what they have got above the ceiling void, because one of the things with M&E, this is the finished product. You can't actually see any of what we do, and that's why I think for M&E it's really important, because we're selling you something that you never see. So at least with BIM, they can see it on the virtual screen and they can click on it and see what they've got. So as you can see, all you can see of our M&E here is just a few grills. This is another shot of the finished product. We finished the refurb. I have to say that the client team were very much more engaged with the zip tea boiler tap than they were with the BIM. But there you go. So we persevered. So finally, when we finished the project, the client said to me, "Is it level 2 BIM?" Because they'd heard a bit about it. I said, "Well, not really. It's sort of level 1 and a bit. But did we BIM it?" In the almost words of Bob. Well, yes, we did. We modelled it again and again. It may not have been perfect BIM, but we learned a lot, and it's put us on the path, to the next stage. And so the final slide that I want to leave you with, and this may only work if you're northern, I'm not sure, is from Phoenix Nights, in the words of the comedian Peter Kay. This is garlic bread. It's the future, and that's what I think about BIM. It's the future. So I think we should all get on board with it, especially you, Rosalind. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.